All right, Jason, we'll get into a lot this hour. Obviously, the Eagles made a big change yesterday with Petula out. But what struck you from the game on Sunday? I mean, it was a frustrating watch, as so many Eagles games were this year. The creativity the 49ers had, their execution on offense got me. And, man, I thought the Eagles had chances in that last drive. They moved the ball right down the field, had a chance, didn't do it. What hit you on Sunday watching it?
It was a lot, but the effort was the key. So for me, that was the biggest takeaway for me from the game. And watch every play multiple times. It took me 2 days just to get through all the film because I wanted to go back and make sure that I was sure about what I was going to say and what I was seeing. Mm-hmm. But the effort level for the playoffs, playoff is a time where, you know, there's no tomorrow. There's an extra effort. Some of those plays on the backside as a defensive end, you're like, hey, I may not run to that. It's week 7, right. Somebody has that, But in the playoffs, everyone is giving max effort, and that's not what you saw. The first play of the game when it came to A.J. Brown going to dig out a safety, he stopped Saquon for a 20-yard run, just not having effort for it. And that was consistent throughout the game. And after the play, he looks back at the quarterback and starts pouting a little bit about the play, and it was his fault. It was just an alignment thing for him. And multiple run plays that happened, literally the receivers, mainly AJ, but Devontae's effort began to wane as well. So I was like, dude, this is starting to become an infection, and that mentality carried over to the passing concepts, because when you don't have that dog in you to fight for a playoff, position next week and continue your season, it's what are you playing for at that moment? And just think about in that game. I saw Brock Purdy dive in head first for a first down. Did I see Jalen do that?
I didn't.
Not one time. I saw him slide. No one had the urgency that it was no tomorrow. We would have thought that game was a regular week 5 in the NFL. No, we didn't match their tenacity, their tenaciousness.
I mean, Hugh, that's eye-opening.
That's
to hear
a hell
like
of an
that.
indictment.
Yeah, it is an indictment.
It was when you put it on.
I saw some of the clips you posted on Instagram.
When you put it on,
I think I saw the AJ
bad.
one you referenced. I mean, he didn't try. He just didn't try.
No, and you can see it because they had Darius Cooper in the game. Because Darius Cooper in the ball game, they had a package for him, and it was working. A lot of things that he did was working. When it was his time to go up to the safety, when it was his time to be the lead blocker, the play worked. You put AJ in that situation, it doesn't.
All right, so we're on this, so let's go here. Do you think Sunday, and I know Howie's got a lot of decisions to make and Cap and all that, but just big picture, do you think the Eagles should consider moving on from A.J. Brown? I mean, I know he's still a big talent, and he got 1,000 yards. But I just add this whole season together, Jason, from his attitude, from his approach, from what you're talking about. I do think physically he has slipped a little bit from where he was a couple years ago. I don't think he's as explosive. I would look to trade him this offseason. Would you? AJ's
problem is in between his ears. I don't think that he's fallen off the earth physically as much as, some would think. He has a problem of looking at everything else around him and not what his job is. Mm-hmm. The job of being a team captain, the job of being a team leader, the job of showing up when your number is called. He's forgotten about that part of it. Maybe he's counting stats or counting what the offensive coordinator's doing or what the quarterback is not doing, and he's not internalizing and focusing on himself. So this is my thing. Growing up, if anybody's grown up with a person with any type of an addiction or any type of habit, the emotionally dysregulated or the dysfunctional person kind of sets the tempo of the whole house.
Sure.
Oh, dad is home. He's been drinking a little bit, so let's everyone avoid him. Now you are not free and comfortable in your own home because of this person. Same way with the kid that has temper tantrums and begins to control the parents, right? Because of their emotional makeup and need,
It kind
right?
of sucks the emotional oxygen out of the room.
Out of the room. And what does it do? It teaches the other kids to get what they want by acting like
out.
that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a problem. I mean, to me, that's a problem.
And that's what I'm starting to see, because I have never watched a game where I questioned Devontae Smith's effort when it came to run blocking. This game I did at times. And I've never seen that. Right? So what I'm saying is that this is behavior patterns that's stemming from AJ. And now as a coach, when you put yourself in front of the team and you're allowing this person that's dysfunctional to get away with things that nobody else is able to get away with, you lose credibility and credibility and respect each and every time.
Yeah. But my question to you is this. Okay, without a name, what do you think needs to happen as far as the offense? What kind of offensive coordinator do you think we need for this football team? Do we need one that caters to Jalen, or one that's going to get the most out of this offense as a collective?
Here's the thing. Like, if you're going to fire Kevin Patullo, and Kevin Patullo is not the only problem. Everyone's celebrating, Kevin Patullo.
Well, it's a head on the stick.
Let me say
it's a sacrificial lamb. Yeah.
This game wasn't a Kevin Patullo thing. And that's the honest truth. The last call was a Kevin Patullo thing. But pretty much in that game, every single play, there was somebody to throw the ball to. On pretty much every single run play, if it was blocked correctly, it would have had yards. This was a players' game. The players did not execute in this ball game. So if you're going to make this about Kevin Patullo being fired and it's about Jalen now, because that's what this message says, Jalen, this is your team. This is about you, and we're going to cater to you. You got to get someone that's not going to ruffle his feathers too much. Let him do what he wants to do, because this is this precedent that you're setting, right? Because now you have to go with someone that kind of knows him, a Brian Dable, right? A Frank Wright that kind of know his makeup through a friend from Nick Sirianni, right? Someone like that that's not going to change it. But if you're asking us to come in and, do a guy like Clay Kubiak or Zach Robinson, like these guys that Mike McDaniels, like you have to become so much better reading the game and throwing over the middle and trusting it with confidence and controlling motions and having guys in funky situations. And is Jalen willing to do that? I don't know.
My question to you is this. Okay, you talk about bad behavior. Now, we've all heard speculation that and especially in the press conference where Jalen was non-committal when they asked him about Kevin Patullo. Isn't that kind of, in essence, rewarding bad behavior? Like, if Jalen really was on the podium trying to get Kevin Patullo out of here, and they got him out of here, now you get his guy. Isn't that kind of, in a sense, rewarding bad behavior?
Well, Jalen has had multiple opportunities, whether it's a couple off season ago when he had a chance to say, Nick Sirianni, I may not, always agree on everything, but that's my coach. I wouldn't want to play for anybody else. That's the high road that you always take as a player. The high road would have been saying, you know what, it's not all Kevin Patullo. Some of it's me, some of it's this, some of it's that. And we'll evaluate that at the end of the season. But I believe that he's a good coach and that he can coach here. And you have your own personal conversations with the coach afterward, the management. I'd say, hey, man, get him out of here, whatever it is. But there's a certain way to handle that. I don't think he handled it well. But yes, did I avoid your question a little bit? Yeah,
you did. You did. It's cool. We're good. We're good. I got that. I caught it.
But I get it. So I want to ask you this. So you mentioned there, Jason, that there was a play where Brock Purdy dove for a first down, right? And we didn't see Jalen do that on Sunday.
No.
Brock Purdy also out-rushed Jalen Hurts in the game. Jalen Hurts had 14 yards rushing. So as we're going to get into this conversation we're having with our audience about what the next scheme should be, what the next coordinator should be, right? Like, what should it be? And a lot of people say, well, you got to do it to Jalen's strengths. I asked you, watching him for an entire season, watching him in this game, do you still think he is an impact runner? And there's two parts to that. One, is he willing to be? And then two, physically, is he? Because Jason, I don't know what's going to happen the rest of his career. I have no idea. I know this. If you add up college and the NFL, he has run the ball almost 1,500 times. So I am wondering, physically, how much more is in those legs? And then with that, how they build the next offense. Is his legs a big part of it, or is that going to start to wane more and more?
Well, yeah. So it would be foolish not to use his legs, right? Because that's a part of Jalen's game at his highest level, is being able to use his legs, right? The leading rusher in the Super Bowl, and Saquon's not getting yards and all those types of things, right? So I believe that Jalen should be looking to use his legs at times. And I think like I said, I think it's a mentality. There's this threshold that, we've won a Super Bowl, and I shouldn't be required to do certain things anymore. it's sort of like graduating from special teams, where guys are like, man, I don't have
I
to
don't play special teams no more.
It's like I'm above that.
Yeah.
And I think there's a sense of that with this team, and maybe even Jalen Hurts, because there's times in the ball game, especially in this game, even on the last play. Just think about this: the last play call was horrible. It was the worst call you can call in that situation. It was basically all go special. Oh, not special, but all go. All right, so bad call. Why throw it 3 people covered? No one's pressing you. You can make a move in the pocket and try to extend the play. How many times did he try to extend the play?
Not often.
Not much. He rolls out of the pocket to the right, and he throws the ball out of bounds.
Which that play is going to haunt me the entire offseason. You have 3 downs left in your season. I can't throw one out of bounds.
It's that like I said, that mentality. Like I said, I think that the team was infected before this particular game, that they didn't believe the way that they should have and fought like they should have. And you got to question it, man. That I saw guys that quit out there. That's what I saw him say.
Well, it's indicting, but it feels accurate based on I think a lot of people felt the same thing. All right, 215-592-9495. Let's go to the phone lines here, and then want to throw at you some concepts on the next coordinator and what we think is best for Jalen and the offense moving forward. Jack in Norristown is up. Hey, Jack.
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Hey, Jack. What's up, buddy?
That's I blame a lot of the stuff this year on Sirianni, and Kevin Petula was not ready for the job. We learned that after 6 or 7 years. Games, I mean. Jalen's going to be our quarterback for the next 5, 6 years, and we could do a lot worse. We got to get a coordinator, either an old head or a young guy, some hot shot out of college, that come up with something new. But there's a lot of problems. And you can't tell me that A.J. Brown, with his problems, he put a lot of tension on Jalen too. So
well, and then he didn't play great on Sunday. I mean, as Jason just alluded to, and he dropped passes. I mean, it was a bad A.J. game when you had it together.
The guy didn't play great a lot of times all year long.
I agree.
He don't get it that there's no I in team. He don't get that. He's the only guy that they win the Super Bowl, and after the Super Bowl, he's whining that he only caught 6 passes.
I mean, Jack, it caught all our attention. It bothered me then. I mean, I know. I mean, it kind of set the tone for the season. Like that. I mean, Hugh, we spent a lot of time on that Instagram post after the Super Bowl. It did kind of play it out. I mean, were we really surprised it played out like this?
It was kind of odd for him to say it the way that he said it. We went the whole offseason trying to figure out what he actually meant. I gave him kind of credit for saying it because I was trying to pick it apart to try to feel what he was feeling. But to answer your question, it did kind of set the tone.
Yeah, it did. All right, Jack, we appreciate the phone call. All right, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, there are certain things that if you're going to be that person, you got to produce.
Yeah, you can't.
Like I'm talking about all the time.
Right.
If you're going to be that person, you got to TO produce. You know what I mean? If you want to be that, and the posts that he didn't drop it, but he ran away from contact. And I can say that knowing the receiver. Like I can say that.
You're talking about the final drive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there were three balls that it felt like he could have caught. One was a deep shot, and I don't know if the wind killed it. Maybe it died.
Well, that wasn't a final drive.
Right.
That wasn't a final drive.
I was trying to figure out which one you were talking about. The final drive.
No, not the final drive.
Okay.
But there was a drive later in that game. I want to say it was at the he had 3 straight plays. I want to say it was in the second quarter. He had a post in cover 4. Everyone wants to post in cover 4. He run the post. Jalen could have thrown a better ball. Give you that. Could have thrown away a better ball.
Yep.
And it was closer to the safety. And instead of going right to the ball, he looked over and straightened up. That's a sign that you are afraid of the safety.
Okay, I think that was the first one. Then there was one by the sideline. Right?
The one by the sideline, he just lost at the line of scrimmage.
And then the last one was the last drive of the game.
Last drive.
Yeah, it was a bad day. All right, let's unpack, and we're going to go back to the final play, because I want your thoughts, and I want to hear what you said, hear what Nick Foles said. I want you to respond to him. But a lot on the final play coming up. But let's go back. Let's go to the offensive coordinator search and what they got to do here. I want to play this for you. This was Jaws on the morning show, and they were talking about different kinds of offenses, right? Different coordinators from different places coming in. Here's how Jaws reacted to the idea of a certain type of offense and how Jalen might handle it. Here's Jaws.
So, Jaws, if they try to reinvent the offense, and I mean a new coordinator says we're going with different concepts, do you think Jalen would effectively run, for instance, West Coast concepts or whatever, other stuff? Do you think it would work or not?
No. It's hard. I'm going to speak personally on this because, hey, I played 17 years. I played with a lot of different systems. It's like learning a new language when you try to go to a new system. John can speak as well. He played in others. It's hard. You get to a point where Jalen's been in this system now, 5 years. He knows exactly what to do every single play, what his responsibility is, what everyone's responsibility is. To change that and go to a new style of offense, I think it's a big change. It's not like, let's just start calling plays this way. Let's start running this way. Let's start doing the reads this way. It is hard to, number one, wipe out the old way of doing things, and number two, learning a new way of doing things. It is very, very, very difficult.
All right, so Joe asked the question using the West Coast as kind of the backdrop. Let me use the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan kind of offense because that's the new one, and some of the names you mentioned are like assistants, the Kubiak guy. Is that where they should go, or is Jaws right? Like it would be square peg round hole.
Well, so let's get something straight. The thing that I disagree with Jaws in this sense, everyone runs the same plays in the NFL. So all the offenses are kind of like amalgamated. They're kind of mixed together, right? So there's a so Jalen has run plays off pass play action that's similar to what San Francisco does. Sure. It does, he does that each week. It's about the terminology. The terminology changes, the motion changes, the responsibility changes, and the way you view the game changes. And that's what Jaws is basically saying. So do I think we should go to a Sean McVay style Kyle? I don't think so. I think they ask too much of the quarterback. I said this last week. They basically play the game in between the numbers.
And Purdy made a lot of throws in between the numbers Sunday.
In between the numbers. And you have to know for sure what the defense is doing. You can't be wrong. And if you are wrong, you get 2 interceptions in the game. So so with that being said, I don't think that that's in Jalen's wheelhouse. I think Jalen has a way of going about it. Okay, this is my read over here, but I have something backside that I can go away from the read in order to protect myself.
So I agree with you, and I agree. And Hugh was saying something similar to start the show about terminology, plays.
Because I always thought that it was more terminology than anything because everybody's running the same concept.
So with that, should the Eagles be looking for the right system for Jalen Hurts, or should they be looking for the best offensive mind? And if Jalen molds himself into that, great. If not, they got to get a new quarterback. Like this feels to me like a little bit of a pivot point for the franchise.
No, I think they should get the best person for Jalen with the most experience, because the person with the most experience will have the ability to go in and out of different styles, right? So it's not just this particular way.
Right.
It's a guy that has learned over the years to be adaptable. That's why I think Brian Dable is a good hire, because you've had Jalen, you understand him at Alabama, you've had Josh Allen, you know what Tom Brady is like.
Daniel
right?
Jones was a mobile quarterback.
You have a bunch of these particular guys, and you've caused them to be productive, right? So I think that's the answer. And someone is going to challenge him.
And he would.
I think that the most important thing. But let me get this straight. I'm gonna try to ask this in a way where it people can digest what I'm asking. So basically, what you're saying is we need to run an offense that's easy for the quarterback to process all of the information he needs to process and be relatable.
Yeah.
Because basically,
I think that's the skill set of Jalen. I think Jalen is more comfortable with things being stagnant. This is not just something that I'm just thinking.
That's what I'm at.
This is something that I know. I know this, right? So this is more of him liking certain things, but you need a guy that understands what he likes, how to sequence it better,